Any other questions, Lamai? I'll take it at the end of the class. So we'll start with this and now we'll get going. We're done with the introduction. So how will your revision class be structured, Lamai? Now, from next week onwards, there is no introduction. So from next week onwards, Lamai, how your revision class will be structured is every week there is a focus area. You know that now. I told you unit number 1 has 4 focus areas. So every week there is a focus area. So the class is for 2.5 hours for now. Later it will increase. For now, your class is from 4 to 6:30. I will take the first half of the class. So maybe the first 1 hour to go through that focus area, to recap that. I am not teaching this like a theory class. I will not go very slow. I will quickly recap that theory. So you all can take your theory tube and you can follow that. If you don't have my theory tube, the slides are there on the screen. You have your school note, you have anything, no? You follow that on your, okay, give me a second. Okay, so the first half of the class, Lamai, we will focus on recapping the theory. The next half of the class, we will discuss the paper that you submitted, the main paper. You would have submitted before the class, we will do that. That's how the class will go. So we'll start with Unit 1, focus area number 1. Unit 1, focus area number 1. So what's the first focus area number? The first focus area is a very easy topics, focuses on macroeconomics, positive normative statements, resources, and goods. That's the first focus area. So I'll take the next 45 minutes maybe to quickly recap this area. Again, noting I am not teaching this from the beginning. I am with the impression that you have at least heard of what these are. You have at least heard what is micro, what is macro, what is resources, what are goods. You have at least heard those, because otherwise, that is what the theory class is for, is the revision. So I will quickly recap the thing. So starting off with Lamai, what is micro and macroeconomics? We know, we'll quickly recap this. What is microeconomics, Lamai? Microeconomics is the branch of economics that focuses on a small part of the economy or the entire economy. What is micro? Microeconomics is the branch of economics that focuses on a small part of the economy. So what kind of things do we focus on? We focus on the behavior of an individual. We focus on the behavior of a firm, how a household is behaving. That is what we do in what? Microeconomics. We talk about a small part. Then what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is where we study about the entire economy, not a small part. Macro is where we talk about the overall economy. So micro is the study of what? Micro is a study of individuals, households, and firms, only a small part. Macroeconomics is the study about, rather, studies about the overall economy. Now this slides, Lamai, that I write and all, I will share this with you all. So for those who, now these are the same things that are there in my theory tube. For those who don't have my theory tube, at least something for you all to go through. But this is not as complete as a theory tube. Theory tube has more details and all. This is like a summarized version. Then Lamai, looking at a few examples. You see, if you take microeconomics, let's say individual markets, let's say, Lamai, for example, the market for mobile phones. So demand for mobile phones, supply of mobile phones, those are not. Those are microeconomic topics. You're talking only about one product. Then let's say the price of a good, one product, individual labor market, consumer behavior, supply of a good. So you're speaking of like one good, one market, a specific small part. That's what you call microeconomics. Now, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is where you talk about the entire economy. For example, the entire country's GDP that we will learn in unit number 5, theory class next week. Right? The GDP, the inflation rate in a country, what has happened to prices in Sri Lanka, what has happened to the employment levels in total in Sri Lanka, what's happening to aggregate demand. Unit number 6, we will learn this. So those are macroeconomic. Can you give me some other examples for macroeconomic topics? Anything that you all know apart from what is there in this diagram? What else? Any other examples? Okay, employment rate, fine. Uh, okay, how about exchange rates? Correct, exchange rates. Exchange rates. Economic growth. Okay, total import exports, economic recessions. National income. Correct, correct, correct. Good, good. So maybe I'll just add one more. We'll say economic growth. Okay, economic. There are so many other topics. Now, you will see, Lama, there are some easy past papers from this area as well. Money supply. Correct. Then, Lama, that's clear now. That's a very easy part that you all know. Micro and macroeconomics. Those are the two branches of economics. Then, Lama, going into the types of statements in economics. What are the two types of statements? We have positive statements and normative statements. What are positive statements? What are positive statements? Positive statements they are like facts, no? Positive statements are facts. It can be true, it can be false. We don't know. But positive statements are facts. So positive statements are about what has happened, what will happen, what is happening. Those are facts. Okay? Positive statements, I am saying, are based on empirical evidence. It can be tested and involves no value judgment. Positive statements refer to what is and contain no indication of approval or disapproval. What is that? That means like positive statements, there is no debate about it. It's a statement. It can be correct, it can be wrong. You see examples. Examples. A positive relationship exists between money supply and price level. A negative relation exists between price and quantity demanded. Sri Lanka's unemployment rate is 44%. That is wrong, Lamai. Sri Lanka's unemployment rate is not 44%. Our unemployment rate is 4%. That is wrong. But why is that still a positive statement? Because that's a fact. It may be correct or wrong, Lamai. That's okay. It's a positive. Then population growth rate is 1%. Empirical evidence means you can gather data and you can prove it, whether it's correct or wrong. Then, Lamai, you all will understand this better when you know what is a normative statement. Yes, again, I am not teaching this from the scratch. If you are learning this for the very first time, this will be way too fast. That is why I told you, if you have a basic idea, I'm just recapping. That's what I'm doing in the revision. Don't mistake me to teaching this completely new. Then that's going to be too fast. Then what are normative statements, Lam? Normative statements are what you call personal judgments, opinions of people. Yep. So when values or opinions come into analysis, then that is called normative statements. What? Values, opinions. So these are what, Laman? These are about what should happen, what ought to happen. You see examples. The country should increase government salary of every government salary worker by 5,000. What do you all think, Lama? Should they or should they not? Government workers. Should they or should they not? But what is your opinion? There is no right or wrong here, Lama. We'll just discuss. You think you're an economist. You're someone in the parliament. So you're now voting. There is a vote in the parliament saying we should increase the salary of government workers by 10,000. Can you also give me a reason? I think so. These normative statements are these are the ones that are made for actual policy decisions. Now, for example, in the parliament, these are what they debate. In the parliament, let's say Ranil will come and say, look here, I am going to increase the plantation sector workers' salaries by 1,000 rupees. Okay, then what happens? And then someone else comes. Sajid comes and says, you know, what nonsense. We don't even have the money to do this. Don't increase by 1,000, maybe increase by 500. Another will come and say 1,000 is not enough, increase by 2,000. Mahinda comes and says, look, Alina, don't increase at all. So these are things that gets debated in the parliament, Lamai. These are things that people in the parliament vote for, and actually policymakers take this into action. So that's normative statement. The normative statements are there are no right or wrong. These are always debatable. They are different point of views. Exactly. These are personal opinions. So you're saying, okay, right now, some of you all said, they should So you all gave me a reason on the chat box. Some of you all said, no, they shouldn't. That is your opinion, Lama. There is no right or wrong. So that is what you call a normative statement. Normative statements, so there are no right or wrongs, Lama. You can't prove. Now, for example, can I prove that the government should increase salaries? No, I will say because of these reasons, pound of those people and they give 10,000. You will say, sir, what nonsense, sir. Look at the government. Now, teachers say, command, but look at the police officers. They are taking bribes also, sir. But 10,000 for them, decrease their salary. So, two personal opinions. Then here, I'll just take one more example. Take this. So, I'm saying it. Every person should earn an equal income. What do you all think? Yes or no? Do you all, should that happen or should that not happen? What is your opinion? I'm saying every person should earn an equal income. Should or should not? Can you give me a reason also? So I'm saying, okay, everyone should get, let's say everyone should earn like an equal income. So support your argument with a reason. If you're saying yes, because of this, yes, sir. Otherwise, no. Okay, some of you are saying yes, because everyone is human beings, everyone has the same bonds. Correct. So some of you all are saying no, some of you all are saying based on education qualification. Because some of you all are saying, look here, some people are working very hard. They are working very hard and they are earning 100,000. Some people are doing nothing and earning 100,000. So there are what? See, there are again judgments. Some people are saying, yes, then income disparity, all good, everyone is happy. Some people are saying, no, they shouldn't. So see, these are what? These are all your opinions, Lamai. So there is no right or wrong here. You can be right, I can be right. So these are things that get debated. These are the things now that goes in the parliament. In the parliament, you will see fellows fighting. Maybe not for this equal income. Maybe for other things. Someone will say, okay, we have to do this. Someone says, okay, look here, we have to start a new highway. Then only foreign investments will come. Let's start a new highway. Someone else will come and say, no, what nonsense? No. My opinion on this is maybe no. Because then what happens is even the fellow who doesn't do anything will also earn the same income. That's my personal opinion. But that doesn't mean I am right. You can also be right. So those are normative statements now. So normative statements usually have this keyword like should and stuff. So have a look. Then we're done with that. We'll then go into my goods. What are goods? We say in economics, goods are anything that satisfies human wants. Goods are anything that satisfies human wants. And goods provide us what? Goods provide us with positive satisfaction. That is also called utility. Anything that provides positive satisfaction or utility. There are two types of goods. What are the two types? You have non-economic and you have economic goods. Non-economic goods, there are other names. It's called free goods, cost-free goods. This natural part you can maybe cut off from that. You can call it. Then, what is economic goods? So goods, economic, non-economic. What are economic goods, We say economic goods are the goods that are what? That are scarce in supply. That are what? That are scarce in supply. In other words, that's the main thing. They are what? They are limited in supply. Mostly economic goods have a price. But is it an essential characteristic, Lama? Should an economic good always have a price? Mostly, yes. But is it a characteristic? Essentially, all economic goods have a price. No. For example, think of the class that we are doing right now. The class that I'm doing right now, I printed tunes for you all and gave. Right? You all are coming to this class and learning with me. Did I charge you all anything for this class? As a consumer, are you bearing a price? No, maybe the courier charge. Courier charge also not for me, that's for the courier company. So that's the only thing that you have to pay. So see, this is an economic good, a good that is limited in nature, limited in supply. So economic goods having a price, remember, is not essential. That's why I have said within brackets here, not an essential characteristic. So the main characteristics of an economic good, they are limited in supply. And also what happens now? When you're producing economic goods, what happens? You have to incur a what? Is there a resource cost? Is there a cost of producing this level? That means resource cost means, do you have to pay rent, wages, interest, profit? You have to know. So there is a resource cost. Is there a opportunity cost level? Instead of producing this, could you have produced something else? Instead of doing this class right now, could I have done something else? I definitely could have now, because today is my, I was planning to courier the tunes for my 24 batch. 24 batch, I am starting a mock exam series. I plan to courier the tunes. So now, I was planning to pack those. I couldn't finish packing those because there was around 200 odd tunes. I had to put those into files. I had to do that, and all of that not easy. So makes it what? I had an opportunity cost. If not for doing this class, I would have done that now. So there is a resource cost, and there is also an opportunity cost involved in producing those goods. That's an economic good. Goods that are scarce, that are limited in nature, that has a opportunity cost and a resource cost. එතකොට ළමයි, what are non-economic goods? What are these? If economic goods are the goods that are limited in nature, non-economic goods are the goods that are no. It's also known as free goods. Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in nature. Oh, you have so much of that. These are the goods that are unlimited in nature. Or I'll say unlimited in some. You have enough and more of these. Is there a resource cost or a opportunity cost? Is there a cost of producing this? For example, my examples of these are sunlight, rainwater, air. Those are examples. Do we have opportunity cost of? Do we have to produce those? No. So there is no opportunity cost. Is there a resource cost? Resource cost means cost to produce this lamine. No resource cost. That's a non-economic good. Clear, lamine? Goods broken into two: economic, non-economic. Economic goods are the goods that are limited in supply. Non-economic are the ones that are unlimited in supply. So for economic goods, examples, you can give anything. Anything that is not unlimited. So for example, mobile phones, motor vehicles, laptops, chair, table, ceiling fan, pottu roti, you can give anything that is not unlimited in. Then coming into this, can we convert a non-economic good? Okay, I'll go the other way. Can we convert a economic good to a non-economic good? Can we convert? Can we convert an economic good? I'm asking you, a economic good, can we convert it into a non-economic? Can we do that? This lamai we can't do. There is no way of doing this. Because once you have already produced a good, use scarce resources and produced it, lamai, back bad. But can you do the opposite? Can you convert a non-economic good, that is a good that is unlimited in nature and all of that? Can you convert a non-economic good into an economic good? This you can. Can you give me an example? Example of converting a non-economic good into an economic good? And bottled water. The rainwater that you have is lamai non-economic, unlimited. But if you take that rainwater, purify it, do something, add value, put it into a bottle, and the bottled water is an economic good. Then maybe let's say the oxygen. The oxygen that you and me are breathing, non-economic, no, unlimited. Now also you're breathing, I'm also breathing. But if you put that oxygen into a tank, give it to someone who is going diving, put that oxygen and give it to a patient, under econ. Same thing, sunlight. Sunlight into a solar panel, this. So economic goods cannot be converted to non-economic. But non-economic goods can be converted to economic. That is what I am putting it over. Nitrogen, I think liquid nitrogen, no? I am not sure how exactly it works. So I'll not put that there. Right. Then that part is done. What is a economic bad? Economic bad කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Now, a good is something that provides positive satisfaction. Then a bad is something that provides මොකක්ද? A bad is something ළමයි that provides negative satisfaction. It provides මොකක්ද? A bad is something that provides disutility. Bad is something that provides negative value. It has a negative price. It provides disutility. Hey, Munadi, what is this negative price, ළමයි? How can a price be negative? Now, I said theory class fee 2,800. I don't say minus 2,800. What is this negative price? Negative price means, ළමයි, usually you will pay a price to buy something, no? You pay 2,800 to come to the theory class. A negative price is you will pay a price to get rid of it. You will say, "Ane, take this and go." You will pay someone money and say, "Ane, take this and go. I don't want." What can be the examples? What are economic bads? Okay, garbage, yes. You will pay money to get rid of. Apart from that, so maybe lamai snow, not in Sri Lanka, maybe in the foreign countries where it snows, lamai snowing is annoying. To clear the roads and all, they'll pay money to get rid of it. Maybe lamai you can even take traffic. You can take diseases. What else? You can take any pollution. So these are all economic bads. They provide what? Disutility. Negative satisfaction. Goods provide positive satisfaction. Presence of these are giving negative satisfaction. You feel bad when this is there. So you will pay money to get rid of it. Can you, is something like cigarettes and alcohol an economic bad? Cigarettes and alcohol. Cigarettes, alcohol, are they an economic bad? What do you all think? Yes or no? Are people paying money to buy cigarettes? Or are people paying money to get rid of the cigarette? You're paying money to buy the cigarette, right? Why do you think you're paying money to buy the cigarette? Because it's providing with you some sort of satisfaction. No? Whoever who is smoking, he is paying money and buying the cigarette because he feels something. He gets something. That's why Lama he's paying and buying it. Why is someone paying money and buying a bottle of alcohol? Because he feels he's getting something, right? So these are economic goods. They're economic goods. These are what we call demerit goods that we will learn in detail in unit number 8. These are called what? Demerit goods. This we learn in unit 8. So for now, I will leave it there. These are not economic bads. Yes, I will give you all a break once I finish the theory discussion. In another 15 minutes, before we go to the paper, I will give you all a break. Done. Then, after goods, none of these goods fall from the sky. How to produce goods? To produce goods, you need resources. So what are resources? Resources are the inputs that are used to produce goods and services. Resources also, there are two types. What are the two types? You have economic, you have non-economic resources. Very easy, lamai. Again, what are economic resources? Economic resources are the resources that are resources that are limited in supply. Resources that are scarce in supply. So these are the what we call the factors of production. That is what you call economic resources. resources that are limited in supply. So these resources now have an opportunity cost. They are scarce. All of that is there. Then what are non-economic resources? These are the resources that are monad. Economic is scarce. Non-economic is the resource that are unlimited, non-scarce. ඕන තරම් දිනනවා. You have any amount of it. That is what you call a non-economic resource. Examples: sunlight, air, rainfall. So if you look at economic resources a little in detail, you can broadly classify economic resources into two. What are the two, Laman? Even before going to land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, broadly you can classify into two. What? Anyone who knows that? Economic resources, before classifying it into land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, I'm saying you can classify into another. That is called, Laman. You can classify them into property resources. Property resources and human resources. Can you all tell me, from land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, which of these are property resources? Land and capital. Land and capital are property resources. Which of the ones are human resources? Human resources are labor and entrepreneurship. Labor and entrepreneurship. Done. That's the story. Then now we'll go a little bit into land now. What is land? Land, we say, are all the natural resources that are gifted by nature. They're scarce. The scarce natural resources gifted by nature. So it can include forests, minerals, oceans, rivers, wild animals, things like that. What are the characteristics? Number one, we say it's a gift of nature. Gift of nature means it is not man-made. We don't make trees. Trees grow on their own. We don't make oceans. Oceans are there on their own. So it's a gift of nature. Second one, supply being inelastic. Can you tell me what is that? Under land, I am saying supply of land is inelastic. What does that mean? Supply of land is inelastic means it is difficult to increase the amount of land. It takes time to increase the amount of land. You can increase, you can grow trees, right? You can grow trees, but that you can't grow in a day. You can't plant a tree and expect it to be a huge one in a day. It takes time. That's what we say. Supply being inelastic. What does that mean? It is difficult to increase the amount of land. It's not perfectly inelastic or it's not perfectly fixed. You can, but difficult. Now, for example, something like trees, you can increase, right? You can increase, but it's difficult. That is what it means. Then characteristic number 3, immobility. What is that? What is mobile? Mobile means another. Mobile means you can move from place to place. No, you can put it here. That's what mobile means. Then what is immobile? Immobile means you can't move it. So we say land is geographically immobile. Geographically immobile. So you can't move it from one place to another. You can't move from one place to another. Now, animals you can move with it, but if you take the others, a river, all of that you can't move it. So that's why we say it's geographically immobile. Then also we say possibility to improve productivity. So if you want, now for example, Lamai, if you take a plot of land, now what do the farmers do, Lamai, to improve the productivity of land? Let's say with the soil they have, how do they try to get more crops? What do? Let's say they are doing a Wagawa, they're doing a plantation. How are they improving the productivity? From the same tree, how are they getting more fruits? They're using fertilizer. They are having chemicals, pesticides. And so you can improve productivity that way. No? So maybe by the use of fertilizer, maybe pesticides, you can do that and get that done. Then we say land is non-uniform. What is non-uniform? What you wear to school is a uniform. Then what is non-uniform? What you wear to school is called a uniform is because everyone is wearing the same thing. Non-uniform means it's not the same. Now, is one tree same as another tree? No. Size is different, type is different, leaves are different. Is one river same as another river? That's what we call non-uniform. And finally, we say, Ramai, the payment for land, this is not exactly like a characteristic, but the payment for land is rent. If you give land, the return that you get is called rent. That is land and the characteristics. Then am I moving quickly into labor? What is labor? Labor, we say, are what? The physical and mental efforts of people. Physical and mental efforts of people. So we say labor is a life factor, living being. Labor, we say, is mobile. So there is geographical mobility. You can move around. You don't have to work at the same place. There is geographical mobility. You can work in different areas, different countries, anywhere you can. And also we say there is occupational mobility. So you can do different occupations. Now, for example, I don't only have to be a teacher, Laman. I can go and become someone else. I think most of you all know I also have a full-time job that I work as an economist. That's why I don't do a physical class because I don't have the time to do one, but I don't want to give up on that job as well because I really like what I'm doing. I'm updated about what's happening in the country. So I'm keeping that. I'm occupationally mobile. I can do classes. I can do that job. Maybe let's say 4 or 5 years later, I feel like classes are not working out. I will give up this and go full time now. Let's say I feel that is not working out. I'll give up that and come over here. If I feel both of these are not working out, let's say I might go and become a farmer. What is that? Occupational mobility. Yes, labor can't be separate from labor. Correct. Then what is heterogeneity? What is heterogeneity now? Heterogeneity means it differs from person to person. Now, is my physical and mental effort the same as your physical mental? I might be good at certain stuff. You might be good at something else. So that means like, it differs from person to person. Differs from person to person. It's not the same. Then number four. Number four, we say, Lamai, possibility to improve productivity. You can improve the productivity of labor. How can you improve the productivity of labor? How can you make a labor resource do work faster, do better, less mistakes? Education, training, experiences. And that will improve the productivity. Then with labor, my labor can make decisions. That's number five. And finally, you say the payment for labor is wage. Easy stuff. We know this. Then capital. Capital, what can we say? Capital, we say, are the man-made resources or the man-made aids that are used in the production process. So buildings, machines, raw materials. Right now, if you ask me, sir, what capital are you using? I will say my chair, my table, my fan, my house that I'm living in, my laptop, my iPad here. Right? Everything is my capital. So we say it's a man-made factor. Also, we say it's a real factor. That means others are fake factors. What is a real factor? What is a real factor? A real factor means it's a tangible, physical factor. You can see it and you can touch it. That's what you call a real fact. Okay. That part, the labor market, not important side. Then we also say it's a stock factor. What does that mean? We say capital is a stock factor. What does a stock concept mean now? Remember, I told you all stock factors and flow factors. I taught you all in the theory class. I'm not going to that detail now. But what does stock factor mean now? Stock factor means it can be measured. It can be measured at a point of time. So exactly at this time, I can tell how much of capital I have. If you ask me, sir, at how much? 5:17 p.m. on 17th August 2024, how much of capital are you using in your business to do this class? I will say, okay, I have my laptop, I have my this one, I have my this, I have 10 capital. I can say exactly I have this. If you go and ask a factory and say how much capital you have, they can say, okay, exactly at this point, we have 10 machines. That's what you call a stock factor, can be measured exactly at a given point of time. What's the opposite of this, Lamai? Just to recap, the opposite of this is what we call a flow factor or a flow concept. What is that? A flow concept is something that you measure for a period of time, Lamai. For example, your monthly salary. Now, your salary, do I say my salary as at 17th August 5:15 p.m. is 100,000? No, I will say my salary for the month of August is 100,000 for a period. So that is what you call flow factors measured for a period. Stock factors, exactly at this point, you can say you have this much. Then we say consist of productivity, possible reuse again and again. It will depreciate the more and more you use, the value of it goes down, and also return for capital is interest. Very easy things. Just quickly revising. Yes, for those who have my theory tube, please follow the theory tube. Okay, you all have most of these are there in your theory tube. Anything new, I will tell you all if there's anything new, but just follow the main theory tube. For those who don't have my theory tube, you follow whatever note you have. I will share these slides also so that if you want, you can go. I just didn't print this whole thing and give because that just uh, on one end I can use that money to print the papers. Yeah. Right. Finally, we go into entrepreneurship. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is, we say, the person who combines all of these factors of production together in order to engage in a production activity. He bears a risk and he does all of that. So what does an entrepreneur do? What is the functions? He mobilizes the factors of production. He gets everyone together. He organizes the production activity. He tells, okay, look here, you have to do this, you have to do this. Okay, let's do this. What does an entrepreneur do? He introduces innovations, comes up with new stuff. An entrepreneur bears a risk. Now, for example, I can say, now, let's say this class. Now, this class, now first month, I'm doing it for free. Let's say next month, none of you all come for my revision class. Is that a risk for me? That risk is there, right? Now, at least now next, my assumption is, okay, some of you all will come next month. Then with the fees you all pay, some of my costs that I spend this month, I can recover. But does that guarantee that you all will come next month? So there is a risk that is there. That's what you call risk bearing. Okay. Then characteristics of entrepreneurs, these you all can read, Lamai. I'm not going to go through. These are very basic stuff. Then the types of capital. This also, Lamai, I am not going to go into detail because they are not very important, but we'll quickly go through. Okay. So if you take the types of capital, there is fixed capital, real capital, physical capital. This is what you have, Lamai, the machines, the buildings, the physical, tangible capital that you can earn, use again and again and again and again. A return for entrepreneurship is, Lamai, profits. Profits, if it's unsuccessful, then a loss. Okay. So that's fixed capital, the long-term durable capital that can be used again and again and again. What is circulating capital? What is this? Circulating capital is what you mainly call, Lamai, your raw materials. You have raw materials. You have semi-finished goods and your finished goods. Now, why is this circulating capital important, Lamai? Why do you think? Okay, for example, even at our house, even though let's say my classes, I tutor, I have circulating capital. Can you give me an example of a circulating capital that I have in my class when I'm doing my class? My tunes, Lamai. My, do you think every time a student joins, I call my printer and say, Ane printer tute and do you, do you think I do that? No. I already have a set of printed tubes with me. So what is that, Lamai? When you have the, why is circulating capital important? Because only then, Lamai, the production will flow smoothly. Only when I have now, say maybe some of my tunes, I have not put it into the files. Now you all know your tune that you all got. So maybe the papers are just out. So your file, I have to fold it and put it in the box and put that in. So at least I have it in the semi-finished form. So maybe when some students register, I soon make the file, put this thing, courier it. I have that. Or maybe some of it already I have put in the file and kept. I have finished goods ready. If I don't have that, Lamai, can I smoothly continue my classes? No. Every time a student joins, can I call my print and say, Ane print one and give, Ane print one and give, Ane print one and give? That doesn't work, Lamai. So circulating capital is important for a business to continue smooth. Same way. Now, what about my printing place? Do you think my printing place, every time I call them to print tubes, do you think only then they buy their raw materials? Only then they go to the shop and buy paper and buy ink for their printer? No, my printing place already has the raw materials. Because if they don't have the raw materials, then they can't print and give on time. So having the circulating capital, the raw materials, the semi-finished, the finished goods, helps with what, Lave? Helps with continuity of your business process. Otherwise, there could be very high delays. That's circulating capital. Then what is economic overhead capital? I put a small cartoon there also. Economic overhead capital is what you call capital goods that help with the production and distribution process. So for example, highways, roads, airports, harbors. Why did I put this picture of this fellow? Because he was the fellow who was trying to build a lot of those during his time. There would have been corruption, all of it. That's a different story, but you do that. Why do you build economic overhead capital? I mean, why is highways and these expressways and now there is a Katunaya expressway, goal to Colombo, the goal one is extended until Hambantota. Why? Why are these very important? Because only if you have this economic overhead capital, only then there will be investments coming into the country. Maybe not only foreign investments, mainly foreign, but even domestic investments, Lavan. Now, as a firm, will I go and start a factory somewhere very far if there is no proper road facilities to bring that? Will I start a exporting factory if there is no proper harbor to send my goods? No. So you have to have economic overhead capital to attract investment. Then what is social overhead capital now? These are the capital goods that are there to provide basic human needs. So for example, basic human need education. So for example, school, library, those are also man-made capital things. Like social overhead capital. Maybe basic need is healthcare, operation theater, medical center, hospital. All of those you put under what? Social overhead capital. The capital goods which help with what? To produce a service to fulfill basic human needs. Then what is human capital? Human capital, we say, is the knowledge, the experience, the training, right? The favorable health that people have. Now, last week, Lama, I remember I was sick. So I realized I was actually thinking about human capital. I was thinking, Lama, so no matter how much of skills, how much of knowledge or experience I have, last week, Lama, there were certain things I couldn't do. So in office, I called in sick. I didn't work for 2 days because my body was hurting. I couldn't even talk at one point. I didn't do it. So I realized that even having favorable health is very important, Lamai. That's also a part of human. Because no matter how much of knowledge skills you have, if I can't wake up and do the class, I can't do it. Right? So that's human capital. And then finally, you have natural and social capital. Natural capital is like these paddy fields, ecosystems, different things like that. Social capital are the interrelationships between people, these clubs and societies that help people to work together things like that. Not very important, so I'm not going into detail. In the theory class, we would have learned. Okay, right. I just quickly ran you through the types of capital that is there. I will share this slide with you. For those who don't have a note, you can go through. Then, a few more things just to add. The difference between labor and human capital, labor is simply the physical and mental effort of the people. Human capital is the knowledge, the skills, the experience of that labor. So human capital is a much more advanced concept. Okay. Why is money not capital in economics? Because Lamai, in economics, money is what we call, money is a productive resource. Capital is a productive resource. Capital is something that helps convert inputs into outputs. Does money help convert inputs into outputs? Can I do this class with money, Lama? I can't do this class with money. No, I can do this class with a laptop and a chair and a table and my Wi-Fi. I can't do this with money. So money is not a productive reason. It doesn't help me produce a good. Money only helps you to do what? Money helps you to buy capital. Money will help me to buy this laptop. But money can't do the class. The laptop will only help me do the class. So money is not a productive resource. Money is only a medium of exchange that helps me buy capital if I want. Okay, so money is not capital in economics. Then this part I will leave it, not very important for now. This I will cover it in the paper as well, difference between entrepreneurship and the other factors. And finally, we have productivity. What is productivity, Lamai? Productivity is, we say, the output per unit of input. So for example, if you take a factory, let's say this factory is producing 1,000 t-shirts. This is factory A. Then there is factory B, let's say producing 100 t-shirts. So it looks like factory A is much better. They are producing 1,000. But let's say factory A, to produce 1,000 t-shirts, they are hiring 1,000 people. But factory B, to produce 100 t-shirts, they are hiring only 10 people. So then if you look at productivity, my factory A productivity is 1. They need 1,000 people to produce 1,000 t-shirts. So one person is producing only 1 t-shirt. Factory B, 10 people are producing 100. That means their productivity is 10. That's what you call factor productivity. So you can calculate labor productivity, capital machine productivity. You can calculate it that. That's productivity. There. Right. That is the theory part of it. I quickly took 1 hour to recap that. And we went a little fast because these are very easy stuff as well. Because if I go slow, that becomes a theory class that will go most of you all out. Is that okay, Lama? Shep, I will be covering the most important parts of this in the paper, right? The paper is the main focus, right? Basically, now we know what is there in this focus area. So you take some time to study your theory to it. I will share this also if you want. You can study this also. Investment capital slide, you can take a screenshot. You can go through if you want to. That, right. Okay, I'll end this recording here so that the recordings also, I will systematically give it in pieces. Now, introduction, I recorded separately. Someone, now later, when you all are 3-4 months later, when you're coming back to watch unit number 1, you don't have to watch the introduction. So this, I will have it separated. The paper, I will have it separate. So then if you want to, let's say, recordings are there in the website and all. So let's say even 6-7 months later, if you want to come and watch, you can exactly go to the paper. So I will do that on my end, don't worry.